What's up guys, my name is Ray and welcome to another Genshin Impact video. With the news release in Genshin Impact, we finally got Xiao to our hands. In today's video, I'll do a basic guide for Xiao where I want to put in as many informations referring to him as I can in a very short amount of time. So let's get right away. Xiao is a kinda main DPS and Nemo burst selfish carry that can deal tons of damage not using elemental reactions. His kit is mainly based around the mechanic plunge attack, so if you look at his normal attack, you mainly want to make use of the plunge damage as well as the low and high plunge attacks. The difference between those is that low and high plunge attacks will always be applied depending on the distance from the ground, while the plunge damage is applied additionally when you land directly on the target. So you have to kinda aim the plunge attack if you want to maximize the damage. Now, looking at his talents, especially his E ability, this one does have a very high multiplier. It deals good amounts of damage, but it's actually mainly to generate Nemo particles to get his elemental burst faster. One charge generates you 3 particles, which are around 9 energy. This can be increased with energy recharge as a subset, which I will explain a bit more in depth in the later part of the video. Nice things to know are that you can use his E during gliding, and also you can combine it with a plunge triggering the low plunge damage when you jump from the ground. The second and or third charge of your E, if you have him at C1, will always deal more damage than the first one if you use it in a time window from at least 7 seconds from the other. His elemental burst is his strongest and weakest feature at the same time. Let's TLDR this straight. Problems are that the coasts are at 70 energy, which is pretty expensive. Additionally, he doesn't generate elemental particles with his E while he is in his elemental burst, so you don't really want to use the E inside of it. Also, Xiao loses HP while being in his elemental burst. Other than that, it only applies to himself and only lasts when he stays on the field, which takes the potential screen time of your other party members, but it makes up 60 to 80% of his whole damage. Also, the longer he stays actively in his burst, the stronger it will get. So the TLDR of the TLDR would be that Xiao wants to be on the field as long as possible, but he can't. So the question now would be, how should we use him and how can we fix these issues? Here are the strongest weapons for him based on my personal opinion, ranking Primordial Jade as the strongest 5-star weapon and Deathmatch as the strongest 4-star weapons. For artifact sets, there's actually only 2-piece Viridescent Vanilla, 2-piece Glad, but you also can go for 2-piece Viridescent Vanilla and 3 random of your strongest artifact pieces, or alternatively 4-piece Viridescent Vanilla or 4-piece Glad, which I actually wouldn't put over the ones that I mentioned before. Focus on a 1 to 2 crit rate crit damage ratio, or at least 15% crit rate and 100% crit damage minimum. Luckily, Xiao has crit rate as his ascension stat, which makes things easier for you. Also, keep an eye on energy recharge as a subset. Aim for at least 130 to 140 energy recharge possibly, and I will explain that also at a later point of the video. For his talents, prioritize it the following. Go for auto attack first, then Q, then E to maximize his damage. To toss that in real quick, I don't think that any of his constellations are worth except for C6. Constellation 1 and 2 are nice to have, but they don't give him a power spike at all, or they don't fix the issues he has. So let's fix his issues. First, we want to fix his high energy coast elemental burst. The most obvious one would be to run a battery for him. A battery is basically another character from the same type that uses his or her skills to generate energy for Xiao. By using his skill, you have travel time for the skill, so just use the E ability and swap pack with Xiao so he gains all the particles from his element. 1 particle from the same element generates you 3 energy and you're guaranteed to get it. There are also elemental orbs which are more random, but I don't want to go over that too deep. Possibilities for batteries are Venti, Sucrose, Jean, and a Nemo Traveler, with Sucrose being the strongest raw battery because she can generate 3 to 4 particles per E-charge, having 2 to 3 charges with C1 and Sacrificial Fragments, which are around 9 to 12 energy per E, and Jean as the most flexible battery because she is a healer at the same time. Another option would be to run a energy recharge weapon like Skyward Spine, Favonia's Lance, or Prototype Crutch. Worst case, a energy recharge timepiece, but doing that you will sacrifice a significant amount of damage, but you will be way more consistently having your ultimate. Now, just real quick, if you multiply your energy recharge percentage with the amount of energy that you gain, you increase your energy value per particle by that percentage. For example, you have 130% energy recharge and you gain 3 green particles for Xiao. He basically will gain 9 times 1.3, which are around 11.7, which are around 12 energy. Notice that only if Xiao is on the field, he applies this. Now, we want to fix the second problem, that he wants all the screen time. This also still helps with his energy problem too. Now, the fix here is to use off-field sub-DPS or support characters. These are characters that can provide most of their abilities in form of damage or shields while not being on the field. While they aren't on the field, they also still generate elemental particles, but obviously not from Xiao's element. So he will gain around 1 energy per particle from another element, not counting in his additional energy recharge substats. Great choices for off-field supporters are Albedo, Zhongli, Fischl, Xingqiu, and Beidou. His last problem is easily fixed, which most carries have. They need a healer. Obviously, Jean or Bennett are the best choices, but it depends on what you prefer. Using something different than Jean doesn't matter if it is Bennett or not, you will still need a slot for the battery. Using Jean, you have 2 more slots for different off-field supporters. Of course, you can use other healers like Diana or Barbara. Additions to round that all up is to get a 4-piece noblesse on any character in your team, so you can buff your Xiao even more, and if you are able to create a elemental reaction through Swirl, you can also give your battery a 4-piece iridescent set. But most of your sub-characters will run 2-piece noblesse and 2-piece of their specific element to increase Xiao's strength. For his combo, I just want to make that real quick. Just use Eve from him and your battery to generate energy before going in his elemental burst. Pop all your other ults before or all your other off-field abilities, then go in his elemental burst. Try to use the high plunge attack because this will deal the most damage and include auto attacks between the jumps. Now, let's give this all a conclusion and a TLDR for everything. Don't use his elemental skill while being in his elemental burst as the first point. The second point, prioritize auto attack in talents to maximize the plunge attack damage. Number 3, aim for a 1 to 2 crit ratio or at least 15% crit rate, 100% crit damage, and 130 to 140% energy recharge. Number 4, use a battery and 1 to 2 off-field supporters and a healer. Number 5, increase your damage with a 4-piece noblesse on your support. And lastly, include auto attacks between plunge attacks. Yeah, that's already it. I tried to put in as many informations as possible in less than 10 minutes. Hope you guys did enjoy today's video. If you guys do so, like, comment, and subscribe. It would help me out a lot. And I'll see you guys next time. If you guys want to see more Genshin Impact content, videos should pop up on the screen right now. Make sure to check them out, and I thank you for your support.